Hey, Jordan, thank you so much for joining me on the X interview for Triumph All Stars. I guess I'll go ahead and start with question number one and just ask, what happened?
So, from my perspective, I was told by the remaining three that they thought I was going to win the game. And so, because of that, I had to go. Long story short, I played in a minority position, but I was able to get majority's information by kind of being in the middle. But I still fought for my side while playing with them, if that makes sense, and was able to make some things happen because I was with these people still, my group, but I was able to work with them as well. That's how I kept
Playing
myself.
devil's advocate.
Yes, played in the middle, kind of. I don't like to say that because it sounds gross, but I played in the middle a little bit and was able to make it far for that reason. So
I got you. Cool. Well, question number two is, so what move are you the most proud of? Like, what's the biggest move you feel like was on your resume?
I had a couple that I was really proud of. I feel kind of bad about the Zachy vote. I feel kind of bad about. I probably could have handled that better, but I didn't like our conversation, and I'm not like one and done with people, but I was kind of like, doesn't seem right. Because he told our first conversation, he was like, so I've heard a lot of good things about you that I should get rid of you. The first vote, I see you, and I was like, okay.
Appreciate that approach.
You now. Yeah, that was the first thing he said. So I was like, okay, well, this is, and he told Quinn the same thing. My rider died at that time. So I was like, okay, looks like we were going to get him out. So that happened, and I probably could have handled it better. I think the game would have been completely different if he would have stayed. I didn't want Esteban to go. That was my dude. But, and then the Edmo vote, not a lot of people know this. I went to Courtney, and I could be incorrect how this went. And I was like, hey, what do I need to do to make you work? Because I went to Ed first. I was like, final 8. I was like, Ed, we got to make this work. Like, join us. And he just kept shrugging his shoulders. I was getting pissed. I was actually getting mad at him. And I was like, all right, I'm done with this. Like, this dude's not working with me. So I went to Courtney. I was like, what can I do to get you to vote off to save Miss Esteban this round? And she was like, I need protection. I was like, what if we throw you immunity? And because it was a immunity challenge base where you could send 2 people in and the person who lost the duel would be out. Well, it worked for a while. Courtney was like in the final 4. And then Brian had gone 3 times in a row. And then it was going to be Brian again. And Missy was like, Courtney. And I was like, oh my God. So I didn't think it was going to work. But me talking to Courtney about that got them 2 talking for the first time, really, really heart to heart, apparently more than they had. So they promised not to vote each other that round. So I was like, perfect. So then Courtney comes to me and was like, I'm really thinking about this. I think I'm actually going to do this. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, just got to talk to Justin. Justin already told me he was on board, but he lied the whole game. So I don't really know if he was truthful, but he told me he was already on board. I was like, well, Justin's already on board. And she was like, really? Well, yeah, she confirmed Justin was on board. Well, then she's like, I'm not sure. I'll let you know. Well, then they were like, tribal can be tomorrow. And me and Sam had already talked. We didn't want that. So I pushed Courtney's hand, and she didn't know this was why I did this. She'd be mad, but I was like, tribal in an hour. And they were like, what? And I'm like, can we do, I started my job the next day. I was like, I have to get up at 5 a.m., tribal in an hour, let's go. And I knew that would push her hand because she already told me she was going to probably do it. But that gave her 24 hours to think about it and then maneuver. And so I was like, no, pushing her hand to make this decision. If she doesn't do it, she doesn't do it. Fine. Well, then she did it. And then, so that was kind of I was pulling strings on that, but people didn't know that happened that way.
I got you.
And I was fine with it because I didn't want, so that's probably the most proud move I made at Final 8. Also, I played the middle, and I've never really done that successfully until now. So,
congratulations on that play.
Yeah.
So, in playing the middle, let me ask you one question. If you could go back to any point in the game, knowing everything you know right now, and change something, what point would you go back to?
Either the Zachy vote or the Peyton vote. But the Peyton vote, I mean, it was either Peyton or Missy at that point, so I couldn't really. I chose Missy, so that was my person. I was ride or dies with him, and Esteban at that point. I actually told Malcolm probably the most information, even though I don't even know if you know about that round, how that went down. But
little pieces.
I'll tell you 1 second. I told him I knew he was going home because Courtney told me, and I told him, hey, you're gonna go home. Instead of calling me, he called Courtney, the person who planned his demise. Yeah. Yeah, he called Courtney and Justin, who planned his demise, and I know that for a fact that they wanted him out because Malcolm went to Edmo Edmo spread the information that Malkin said to Courtney. So Courtney started this campaign to get Malkin out, and it worked. And I told him, and we could have had numbers to save Jake on the first vote, but Malkin didn't call me. He called Courtney, and he called Justin. So, yeah, there are a lot of things like that happen where I knew what was going on both sides, but I couldn't get these people in the minority to like straighten up. I'm like, listen, Courtney's telling me more than she's telling y'all. Listen, I'm trying to help. Anyway.
So, what's your prediction for tonight?
Is it endurance? Do you know?
I have no idea.
So personally, I want Brian to win. He played such a good game. We got close. I wanted him out second boot, to be honest, of first boot of live night because I knew he was dangerous. And so I'm like dangerous, but I'm dangerous in put a jacket on me with flashers on at midnight when it's raining. Like people see me, you know what I'm saying? Like people know my game. Like every person I voted out knew I was voting them out except Edmo. Every person knew I was voting for them. So I don't like hide. I'm very blunt. I'm honest, and it kind of works. It worked this season. So the jurors told me when I got to jury that I probably would have won. I had like 5 people tell me I was going to vote for you if you made it. So horrible feeling, but that's okay.
It shows how great of a player you are, though. So you said you were rooting for Brian. Is that who you think is going to win?
I think Justin will drop, so then Brian has to cut Courtney, because from my perception of the game, and I know you're not in the jury's chat, so you don't know, my perception of the game, Courtney was going to win just because she's been a power. She actually hasn't had to do a lot, I'll be honest. Her and Justin have not had to do a ton. They had that cult and the idols, but if they didn't have idols, they would not have been protected. Like, period, point blank, period, nothing. Like, I would have gone for them, not even lying to you, and I play a loyal game, but I'm not an idiot. I play a very loyal game, but I'm not an idiot. The fact, if she makes it, it's a huge feat, but in the jury, she's looked at as a GOAT right now. She's not winning.
Okay.
Based on what everyone says, which is shocking to me because she carried Justin this season, like carried him on her back. So my prediction is if it's Justin and Brian drops so that Brian is one of us to cut Courtney. I hope people are nice when she comes to the jury because people are not happy. I mean, I feel a little emotionally manipulated by her too. Said it tribal. And then I got to the jury and they all agreed with me in the chat. They're all like, thank you, Jordan, for finally calling her out. Jordan's right. And I was like, okay, so good. People agree that I felt the same way. Because there was Steve, the last 48 hours, the charades and fireworks they put on for me, no point. None. Like how blunt and honest I was with them specifically as a group, all 3 of them, no point. No, like stupid. I am not known for challenges. I'm not. So like, why would you? Anyway, okay, all right. Sorry, what were you saying?
No,
yes, I'm rooting for Brian. I'm rooting for Brian.
Okay.
Yes.
So, who do you feel like has the best shot? If it was a final 3 tonight, who would finish first?
Brian.
Brian would win.
Brian, Justin, Courtney.
Okay.
Now, I think if it's Justin and Courtney could squeeze it out. I'm like pushing that narrative because I love Justin. He was from my season, but again, no reason to lie to me the way he did. Like there was no. I play with my heart more than my head, as you probably saw, and I go with my gut, and my intuition is typically right. That's why I've gotten fourth 4 times in these games. 4. The one time at the end, I got torn apart, and then I was told by some jurors after the season I should have voted for you. And I'm like, duh, like I played good. I know I did. I was so mad. Anyway, I'm being like how Courtney's being perceived right now is how I was, which I understand. It's a gross feeling, but anyway, and it's easy to dogpile on someone in a jury situation. It's so easy, you know. Anyway.
So if Courtney wins immunity tonight for whatever reason, who do you think she'll take?
Justin.
Okay.
If she's smart. Yeah.
If Justin wins?
I think I'll take Brian.
Perfect. And I don't feel like, coming from what you've said, it doesn't really sound like Brian can really lose to either one of them. So if Brian...
I'm a big Brian fan. Like, I told Brian, I pitched Brian so hard. Like, did you see our tribal?
No. Oh, wait, yes,
it was
I did.
our one-on-one conversation was more intense. More intense. I said to him, I was like, I got into 2 separate law schools. I was like, the reason why I didn't pursue this specific career is because I am not good in public. I was like, one-on-one, I can preach to you and tell you why you're wrong and why what you're doing doesn't make sense. From a logical standpoint, what you're doing doesn't make sense. I said, I'm not good at puzzles. You send me to fire. They're not taking you to finals. You send me to fire. That's an automatic vote. I will be the biggest supporter of you in the jury. You are not making logical game move. That's exactly what I told him. I said, from a game standpoint, if you have the highest chance to win immunity, I will drop. Promise. I wouldn't have dropped. I was like, I would not have dropped. I was like, I will drop immediately. I was like, I will, because that's like the final 3. That's a different, you know what I mean? Different.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, I would have cut Brian too after that. He would have, I think he would have respected it because he respects game. And that's another thing the jury feels. Justin and Courtney, like they feel emotionally manipulated by them and kind of like grossed out, whereas Brian was able to handle the social aspect and I think he played a great game. Some people are not a fan of him, but I think he played a great game, and they need to get over it. There's so many bitter people in that jury right now. Get over it. Like, get over it. Like, I feel gross, but I've been here now just 24 hours, and I'm way over it more than these people who have been there like 2 weeks. Like, it's a game. It's a game, you know.
As somebody who got played by Brian in season 4, I could not respect him more. I've never played with a better player.
He played great. The problem with Brian though was that he's clocked. Like, everybody knew what he was doing, but nobody voted him out. But the problem was Courtney and Justin were protecting him on a consistent basis. So
the game is Survivor. How do you survive to the next round? And so far, yes. But anyway, so last question I have for you, advice to brand new players who have never played an org before, and advice to players going into their very first ever All-Stars, coming out of it right now. What can you say?
Don't close your mind off to people that, like, most time All-Stars signifies people that have played prior. So if that's the thing, don't close your mind. Malcolm came in. Our first conversation was the worst conversation I had all game. Possibly. Well, there's one other one that I don't want to hurt that person's feelings, so I'm not going to say that. But Malcolm knows this. This is information he and I shared back and forth. It was horrible. He was like talking about Pokemon, and I was like, I don't even know what that is. Like, we just did not connect, like, at all. I asked if he played sports. No, like, we were not on the same wavelength, and we lost. And I was like, I want him out. I was like, I know if I can't mess with someone on an emotional level, how am I going to be able to play with them long term? So I was like, I want him out. And he was the vote until I went to work at my second job. And then Courtney was able to flop it onto Madison. He was the vote. It was going to be a 4-2 vote. And she got Justin. Well, I think she got Justin. I think Justin was always going to be her little bitch boy, is what I call him, and do whatever he did whatever she wanted the whole entire game. They voted different one time, and she knew about it. So, like, you know, and she just let Sam go. She knew that Sam was going, and she let Sam go. It wasn't a secret. So, anyway, I apologize.
No.
That's why I cannot let a goat win this season. I love Justin on a human level. Right now, I don't even want to see his face because I'm so mad at him. But, like, I am very frustrated. If he wins this season, it would be horrible because if we just gave this season. If I go, when I go into Final Tribal, I'm going to look at Justin and Courtney and say, Courtney, Justin, if you win, it's because people voted against Courtney, not because they voted for you. I'm going to let him know. Like, hey, you did not deserve this. No one wants to vote for you. You are winning because people don't want to vote for Courtney. Kind of what Kobe Archer said to Katie or to Tom in Palau. Exactly. Yes. I'm actually quote him. I'm gonna be like, hey, you know, whatever. But anyway.
Word for word.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like, this is not a vote for you. This is a vote against. You know, and I'm voting for Courtney if it's between the two of them. I refuse to vote for a goat alien. I don't care if the person cussed me out, if they called me ugly, if they insulted my mom or my grandma or my daddy. I don't care. I'm not voting for a goat. I refuse. And an all-star season? Heck no.
Yeah.
No.
I'm with you. I'll vote for the best player.
No,
I'll be pissed, but I'll vote for the best player.
Told Justin, you're viewed as a goat right now. And I wasn't being mean. The way he said it in Tribal was like I was a bully. That's bullcrap. I told him in a nice way, hey, we're friends. Like, why would I it makes no sense. I was like, hey, make moves because you're being perceived this way. And it's funny because then Justin told Jake and all these people that I was considered the GOAT, which was completely opposite. My name apparently was tossed out at 10, 9, 7, and 6. And if I didn't win immunity 5, that's 5 rounds right there. If I didn't win immunity 5, I was a possibility, and 4. So that's 6 rounds.
Yeah, 6 out of yeah.
Anyway.
You can't be a GOAT if you're constantly targeted.
No, it makes no sense. And that's happened in my game too, but still I was considered anyway, not the point. Oh yeah, advice. Don't stick with people you just know, because this is what happened this season. And like the jury kind of needs to get over it. They're kind of being pissy. Like I'm obviously you probably hear I've just been out 24 hours. I need a little more time to sulk. But they're being a little pissy and they need to get over it. So don't be a bitter juror if you make it that far. Don't play with people if in All-Star season. Don't just play with people you know. Yeah, like play with them, but give people chances and work with them. If you're playing new orgs, have fun and don't take it too serious, because my first org, I was the biggest crackhead. Horrible. I was insane. Like how I act now to umpteenth level. I was like, this is real Survivor. I have to make final. It was so dumb. Dude, it was so stupid. Point being, just have fun. As basic as that is, have fun. If you have fun, you make it far. If you have fun,
you don't have to control everything. You do not have to control everything.
No, you don't have to control it. People will make decisions based on what they want. And if you do control everything, you get put in a spotlight and you get the boot. Try to get in the majority too.
No joke.
Try to
Jordan, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to keep this. I'm not trying to keep you good. My bad. I can talk to a wall.
You are more than fine, my brother. Thank you so much for your time at Triumph. Like I said, it's been a fantastic time watching you play. I've enjoyed the hell out of the season, and man, you really are an all-star.
Thanks, man. It's so nice to meet you finally.
Nice to meet you too. Hope we get to play together. All right.
See ya.